Welcome back. All right, we are moving right along, and I am so excited with you. You did the work in day one, you identified your idea, you ran the validation test, and hopefully by now you've had at least one real conversation with someone who has the problem you're trying to solve. So today, we find out what that conversation actually told you, what was revealed to you. And then we're going to sharpen what you have until it's specific enough to build on. All right? Day two has two parts, and I don't want you to skip to part two until you have finished part one. The sharpening work only lands if the foundation is solid. And listen, this is where most people really try to skip through because they really want to get to naming that business, get it out there in the public, but you haven't done the work, the research that's necessary to get you where you're trying to go. All right. There is a process to your destination. And if you don't take the correct process, you might end up in the desert instead of alongside the beach. All right. So if you're following along inside of EduVec AI Learning Hub, your day two workbook is attached to this lesson. Download it now before we go any further. And if you're watching on YouTube, the link to join the hub, it's free, guys. Just come on in there and join us. It's free. Get all the workbooks for this series as it's in the description below. Okay, so part one, we're going to move right on through because I know your days are full and we have a lot of things that we have to work on, and we are really going to move on through this. Okay, pull out your day one workbook. Find the section where you wrote down what happened in your validation conversation. Read it again right now before we go any further. Do, 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 do. All right, you ready? I was fast, wasn't it? But if you need to pause, pause. Now I want you to answer three questions, and I want you to answer them honestly. If you notice, I consistently ask you questions. Questions are there to make you probe, to dig deeper. Because anytime we have an idea, the idea is at the surface level. We need to dig deeper. And notice whenever a house is built, they always dig a little bit deeper than the height of the house, right? When you start building higher buildings, they dig deeper. Why? Because the foundation needs to be set a little bit lower in the ground so that the building stays steady. So that's what we're doing. We are digging deeper. Okay. So you ready? Question number one. What did the conversation actually tell you? Not what you hoped it would tell you, not what you assumed they were going to say as you went into this conversation, but what did the person actually say, and what did that reveal about your idea? I'd like for you to, if you're in the Learning Hub community or even on YouTube, put it in the comments what you learned, what was revealed. You don't have to put the whole thing in there. Just, that's a good practice. Put it in one sentence what you learned. Question number two. Did their response confirm that this problem is real and worth solving? Someone may be saying that sounds interesting is not a confirmation. Someone saying, yes, I would pay for that, or how soon can you help me with this? Now, that is a confirmation. So you need to know the difference. Someone saying that's a good idea, but they're not willing to hand over any money, that lets you know you haven't gone deep enough. But when they say, listen, is it ready? Can I get it now? You can see the difference. All right. Question three. What, if anything, needs to change based on what you learn? All right. Once you've answered all three, not one, not two, but all three of these questions, look at the readiness check in your workbook. and check one of the three boxes. What? Come on, come on. Check one of the three boxes. Ready to move forward? Need one more conversation, or I'm going back to refine the idea. Don't be afraid to go back and refine the idea, okay? You've got enough time to get this done. If you check the first box, welcome to part two. If you check the second or the third box, go do what that box says before you come back here. Do not rush past this. Everything from day 3 forward is built on what you are establishing, the foundation that you're building right now. All right. And if you want to share what your validation conversation told you, drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear it. All right. So if you're inside the Learning Hub, post it in the discussion tab. I read every single one and I will respond to them. All right. Now, part two. Part two. Get specific. Most people who validate their idea in day one walk away with answers that are close, but not quite there yet. Not wrong, just not specific enough to build on. All right. And we do this in a lot of areas of our life. We run with the first answer. And sometimes we need to hold up a little bit, examine that first answer, pray it through, what I call flesh it out, so that all of the fluff gets away from it. All right. Okay. So slow down, slow your roll. Let's make sure you start out correctly. If your answer to who is this for is something like small business owners or women who want to start a business, that's a category. That's not a customer. It's a category of people, but you still have not defined down to your customer. A customer is a real person in a real situation with a specific problem they are already frustrated by. All right. So that is exactly why we started this, helping people to start their own business. It is a real problem. There are over, and I'm just talking in the Black community, over 600,000 Black women who have lost their jobs, over 550,000 Black men who have lost their jobs. All of those people are not going to go back out and find a job again suddenly. You've got bills to pay. You have things that you have already probably put down deposits on. Your life does not stop because your job was removed from you. So what we are helping you do is start a business. Now, remember in day one, I said, if you can, go out there and try to find employment because the employment will fund what you're doing. But if not, that don't get caught up in that. Just walk through this. And I'm telling you, if you put everything in place the way it's coming out, you're going to see that you will be able to flourish. Will it happen overnight? No, it will not. I'm going to let you know that right now. It does not happen overnight. But as you stay with it and as you stay in prayer and as you begin to do the work that you need to do, you will begin to see progress. All right. Okay. So as a business owner, I also want you to remember this. You must not be afraid to pivot. Pivot is not a bad word. So just like we did in the exercise above, if you feel that you're not there yet, if you need to pivot, if your research is showing you that you need to pivot, guess what, baby? You need to pivot. I have pivoted more times than you would like to know. There's nothing wrong in the pivot. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So, as business owners, you will always have to pivot because your customer base may pivot and you need to pivot with them. Doesn't mean you just throw all the baby out with the bathwater. You just take the baby out of that particular bathwater, run some new fresh bathwater, and place them back in it. Okay? Staying rigid will cause you to miss the natural ebbs and flows of your business. Loosen up. Right now, you sitting up here and you probably tight as all get out. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to roll your shoulders back. I want you to relax your arms and then just shake them. All right? See that? Do you see how relaxed that feels? Now lower your head. Ooh, go to the left, go to the right, come forward, and breathe out. You see that? Relax. Get rid of that rigidness because rigidness and business, baby, they don't mix, honey. All right? So let's move on to part 3 of this exercise. All right? There are 3. Well, let's move on to part 2, and there's 3 parts of this exercise, okay? Exercise 1, you ready? I want you to write your customer description using this format. Okay, I need you to be for real with this. Don't just remember, we're not trying to do general stuff, okay? All right. A specific person who is in a specific situation and is currently trying to do a specific thing, they're already attempting on their own. What? So, what does that look like? I help business owners get their automation into their businesses so that they can function smoothly. But I noticed something that was happening out in our world, and I said, people are not talking to this group of people, the group of people who suddenly lost their jobs. So I still have my business owners that I actually facilitate, help them get their businesses started, help them get the automation into their business, help them get the systems that they need, everything that they need to do on the back end. I'm very much a back end girl. But I said, but what about these people who have just lost their jobs and there's not enough jobs out there that are going to hire them? And if they're black, they've already got this stigma that, oh, well, we're not going to, with all the things that are going on, the racial tension that is going on, and especially if you're over 45 to 50, 55 to 60, and you're still trying to find work, you've got a lot of barriers coming against you. So there's one thing that I always want you to remember. Those barriers are there, and there's nothing that we can do about those barriers. However, what you've got going in your mindset, that same mindset is going to trickle into your business. That's why on day 1, I ask you to mind your mind. What are you thinking? Where is your mind? Are you placing limitations on your own self? A lot of times we are saying, well, they won't let me do this and they won't give me the loan and they won't, they. But the problem is what are you even thinking? Are you thinking that I'm going to go in here and get this loan? Oh, well, maybe I'll get the loan. Well, you know what? They don't give black people loans. So you went from I'm excited to talking your own self out of it. Whatever's going on in this mind, you're going to have to capture it. You remember that scripture that says you are to capture every vain imagination and high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God? Those limitations are vain imaginations. They are high things that try to exalt themselves over God. Yeah. So you're going to have to begin to ask God to rewire your mind because you may have not even realized that your thinking patterns are actually hindering you from doing the things that you clearly want to do and you know you have the ability to do. All right? Okay, all right. So let's come out of this limitation because that limitation, every limitation has a line that you must cross. And if you don't cross that line, you will never get past that limitation. So some of you, your limitation is, I can't put myself out there. That's a limitation that you created. So now you've got to break down. No one can break that down for you. You have to break it down. I used to say, oh my gosh, I don't like getting out there on the internet. And I had to realize that I put a limitation on my own self. So I was like, girl, if you don't stop being silly, there are people out here that need your help. Do you see? We all have limitations that we have to fight through and we have to destroy them so that we can walk right on through. And the limitation line is real thin. It's not thick, it's a real thin line. All right. Okay. So make sure that you break down these limits as they appear, destroy them through prayer. I mean, that doesn't mean you have to get up and go run into your prayer closet. You see yourself and you see yourself talking in a way in your own head. Ha, I see that thing. I cast you down in the name of Jesus. You will not exalt yourself against the knowledge of God. Why? Because God says that you have dominion here in the land. Isn't that what he said? He didn't just say it for one or two people. It's for you and I. What else did he say? He said, I give you the ability to create wealth. The things that you touch, you create wealth. All right. And come on here. You see that? So you see how that limiting thought will actually permeate into everything that you're doing. So you got to gain all that traction back and come back and walk in divine order. Okay. So exercise number 2, you need to sharpen your problem. Sharpen the problem that you are solving for people. Ask yourself three three questions. What are they currently doing to solve it? What is it costing them not to have that solution solved right now? And what would they describe the problem in their own words? How would they describe this problem in their own words, not your words? See, so many times we try to interject what we would do, how we feel, the product that we want to produce. It's not about us. You being in business is never about you. It is about who you are attracting, who your audience is, and what they want and or need. That is the language your offer should speak. What is their problem? All right. And exercise 3, rewrite your one sentence offer using everything you just sharpened. I help a specific person solve a specific problem so they can reach a specific result. Write it down, say it out loud, and if it sounds like something you could actually say to a real person, you are close. If it sounds stiff or confusing out loud, it sounds stiff and confusing to your customer. So do one more pass. Get it together. Take the stiffness out of it. Get flexible with it. Make it flow like it's real. You know how you're excited and you're talking about whatever that thing is that you love, and it takes no effort for you to talk about it? That's what you got to get to. All right. So the stranger test. Before you close your workbook today, find one person who does not know you or your business. Read them your one sentence, then stop talking and listen. If they say, that is me, or I know someone who needs that, your positioning is working. All right. If they look confused or ask, well, what do you mean? Go back and get more specific. All right. Okay. You see how we're moving right on through this. All right. And you're going to see how this is going to help you very much in the future. It's going to help you. Okay. So here's your assignment before we move to day 3, module 3, whichever way you want to call it. Complete both parts of the workbook. Run your stranger test. Write your final revised one sentence offer in the last section. You'll see it once you get in there into the workbook. All right. So that's easy peasy. Not a lot to do, but it's a lot to do. All right. So if you're inside the Learning Hub, post your revised one sentence offer in the discussion tab. This is the community where the work gets real because you are not doing it alone. This is a new community that we have created so that you can come in a safe place and post your questions, your ideas, your comments, your help. Only thing we ask is that you do not post any links to anything that would cause people to have to pay for them. All right. If you would like to do that, we would ask that you would start your own community. All right. The teachers that are going to be inside of this community, you will see them as instructors. you will see their picture. And if they have something that they are selling, then you will see it inside of our lesson plans. All right. If anyone is posting anything inside of the discussion that is leading to a link for you to pay, it has not been approved by anyone in the admin of this group. All right. So enter at your own risk. We cannot be held liable if it is a scam. That's why we don't like you to post any links, all right? Because we don't know where they're going and we have no control over what happens. Okay. All right. So if you are still watching from YouTube and you have not joined us yet, well, what are you waiting on? Come on over to the Learning Hub, the Edge Effect Learning Hub. It's free, guys. Come on in there. All right. The workbooks are in the community and everything else in this series is in there. Plus, we're adding more and more things into the community. Some of the things are in our paid community and some things will be in our free community. But we want you to come and join us. All right. So day 3 is where we're going to name our business. And yes, there are rules to naming that business. All right. A name is a legal document and a first impression at the same time. All right. So we don't want to name it. Well, I don't want to say some names that. Oh, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. But we want to make sure that your name actually says what you're doing. It is your description, so that immediately when people hear that name, they know exactly what service you offer. All right. Okay. See you there. Bye.